Good afternoon. I'll call to order the July 2020 meeting of the New Ulm Public Utilities Commission. The first item on the agenda is to receive and order filed public notice that this meeting will be conducted at least partially via teleconference pursuant to the authority of Minnesota Statutes 13D.021 because of the circumstances of the COVID-19 crisis.
I'll make a motion to receive and order file the public notice that the Public Utilities Commission will be conducting this meeting via teleconference pursuant to the authority of the Minnesota Statutes 13D.021 due to the circumstances of COVID-19 virus.
I'll second.
Do you have any discussion of the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
No, we have to roll call all vote.
Oh, sorry, thank you. We'll call the roll.
Commissioner Visser,
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis,
Yes.
Commissioner Hillersheim,
Yes.
Commissioner Heine.
Yes. Motion carries. Next item is to consider approving our minutes from the June 23rd meeting, regular meeting from the New Ulm Public Utilities Commission. Yeah, that's it, just one meeting.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held June 23rd, 2020.
I'll second.
Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, we can call the roll.
Commissioner Hillersheim,
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis,
Yes.
Commissioner Visser,
Yes.
and Commissioner Heine.
Yes, motion carries. Next is our monthly utility operations report.
President Heine, Commissioners, I don't really have any comments on this. If there's any questions, I can certainly answer them for you.
Voting.
Yeah, I rebooted.
I didn't see anything of note when I reviewed it at home. Does anyone have any questions of the director?
Nothing here.
I'll make a motion to receive and order file the report regarding monthly utility operations.
I'll second.
I'll second.
Any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, we can call the roll.
Commissioner Hillersheim,
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis,
Yes.
Commissioner Visser,
Yes.
and Commissioner Heine.
Yes, motion carries.
A first-class line worker within the electric distribution department. He has been employed since January of 2006, and he's demonstrated that he's ready to take on a bigger role within the electric distribution department. More recently, he has taken the initiative to learn the electric metering and does a great job locating electric utility infrastructure. His attention to detail and dependability is a skill that is very valuable in the documentation of meters and locating. Jim is a self-starter and works efficiently with very little supervision. His mechanical ability is useful in the maintenance of utility equipment to make sure it is operational when needed. Jim is a valuable asset to the utility, and we are lucky to have him as a utility employee. So congratulations, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to recognize Jim Henderson, line worker first class in the electrical distribution department as employee of the month for June 2020.
I'll second.
Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, we can call the roll.
Commissioner Hillersheim,
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis,
Yes.
Commissioner Visser,
Yes.
and Commissioner Heine.
Yes. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is to review our annual financial report that was presented to us in a meeting on, the 15th of July? Nicole, do you have anything to add on the report?
No, like you said, they presented it on July 15th. They went through some of the cash balances, and everything looks healthy and is in line with where we should be overall, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Very good.
I'll offer the motion to receive the annual financial report for the fiscal year ended December 31st, 2019 for the New Ulm Public Utilities Commission.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, we can call the roll.
Commissioner Hillersheim,
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis?
Yes.
Commissioner Visser?
Yes.
And Commissioner Heine?
Yes, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is to consider authorizing the city manager to accept a proposal for an engineering, for a study of current market and information regarding energy and capacity markets. Dan is presenting?
Hello. We brought this before you in May this year. Heartland Consumer Power District has extended an offer to extend our contract till 2040 with some incentives, I guess we can call them. But we didn't feel that it was doing the ratepayers justice, maybe you could say, to only have one voice. So we wanted to go out and have a market study to learn what the value of both our capacity, the capacity we're purchasing is, and the value of energy, and what they foresee the value of energy with the advent of all these, both solar, wind, and other new resources, renewable resources coming online. So this is just having them come in and do their professional opinion. We had 2 engineering firms that bid on this project or gave us proposals. We felt that the HDR proposal had a significantly greater value to the utility than the competitor for numerous reasons, not just the information we would get for this study, but some of the other information they were going to provide on items such as battery technology that they're working on implementing at the utility level right now. So
Okay.
this we felt was the best value, and that's why it's our recommendation. Any questions? I'd be happy to help answer them.
So this is going to help us decide whether to take advantage of the offer that HCPD has made. Will it also assist us in making our plans after, like this 20-year contract is going to, we're at 10 years of a 20-year contract right now, right?
It will give us the first priority is to decide if this is a good value and to accept their offer or not.
Right.
And if you notice, it's set up their proposal that we could do other phases. Then we'd have to exercise that option and say, all right, let's start investigating, come up with maybe a request for proposal or a request for interest in a proposal
Okay.
to supply the city. So this would be just phase 1. Is this a good value for the utility or not?
Sure.
And we may find out that the offer before us is not a bad value. Maybe we should go ahead with it.
Sure.
Right, there are, if I could just speak, there are some savings that are associated with the Heartland contract. And, you know, over a 20-year period, you know, we're looking at a $100 million contract. So we feel that it's worthwhile just to get some expert opinion. We work in the industry, but there are experts out there that deal with this every day that can tell us what's coming online, you know, what those costs look like, what actually maybe even what legislation is coming in the future that we need to be concerned with. So just to give you guys as well as us more information to make a decision, I think it's money well spent.
Okay, thank you.
I will make the motion to authorize the city manager to accept the proposal from HDR Engineering Incorporated to develop a study of the current market and provide a professional opinion for an energy and capacity market analysis in the amount of $27,600.
I'll second.
Any discussion of the motion? We can call the roll?
Commissioner Hillesheim?
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis?
Yes.
Commissioner Visser?
Yes.
And Commissioner Heine?
Yes. Motion carries. Next item is to consider a bid from Hooper Corporation for the transmission pole replacements. Dan again?
Okay, this is, as we've talked about in several other presentations, this has somewhat been an ongoing issue over the last few years, wrestling with not just the woodpecker damage done to the river crossing, but also the age and condition of the wishbone poles that are along the old Front Street Road alignment, along the river basically. We have the condition of the wishbone poles. I attached 3 pictures of them, and if I'm looking at them in black and white, I'm hoping you're seeing them in color because it's
Yep.
much easier to see in color. But you look at, like, there's those black spots, and then you can actually see the mold and decay on the load arms. These poles are approximately 50 years old. We can't even definitively find the date that they were installed, which is past their design life. You know, most wood poles are classified 30 to 50-year design life, with 40 to 50 years being fairly common. So that's the wishbone poles. But now the woodpecker poles were put in the 80s. That puts them at about a 35-year installed life, which is a little bit short, but that is in less than ideal conditions. As we know, they're in a flood condition. The poles are maintained, everything is taken care of, but it's right down in a brushy, wooded area, which is right where our woodpeckers like to live, regretfully. So that's the main decision on driving forward with this. Then we have to come up with the fact that, as you can see in here, we had a budgeted number of $700,000 for this project. We have been dealing with a little bit of sticker shock since the bid opening on the 15th and developing on how we're going to pay and handle this project. Talking to the contractors at the bid opening, they're all crazy busy and have a backlog of 18 months to 2 years, and only 4 of the 8 people that we directly invited to bid were even willing to bid on it. Some of the contractors we were hoping we didn't even hear from them, didn't even decline or nothing. So everybody's very busy. That being said, though, we were pleasantly surprised to see that steel was only $60,000 more than wood. Now steel, obviously the woodpeckers aren't going to be a favor of them. They're not going to rot and decay. There is other issues, but I figured it out and put it in here. I think it was a 5.1% of the project cost. We can do an upgrade that basically remedies the 2 or 3 major condition problems we have today. And then in an effort to help fund this project, we obviously have been looking at our budgets for next year, both this budgeting season and for this. Larry has delayed the purchase of one of his truck replacements. That's about $300,000. And we looked at our current sales and things and feel that this is still a viable, worthwhile project. And the timeliness of it is kind of important because we are also in the middle of doing a study on wrestling with what we are going to do to supply we're going to call it North New Ulm, or the kind of by Walmart and Menards and some of them, those areas in the future. Because we're starting to reach our load capacity for the north side substation. And that's a major expense coming up in the next 3 to 5 years. So I guess around the utility, the director and I and others feel that this is a timely and prudent project to continue with, even being over budget. With that said, any questions? Be happy to answer.
If I could just add one other comment. When you were at the financial or the annual financial meeting, when they were talking about cash, they were talking about the $2 million over the required cash reserves for bonding. And so this project falls within that. That's the, additional $2 million that we want to have in reserves to be able to pay cash for. Typically anything over $2 million will probably go out and bond for. And so there's adequate cash to take care of this project. And as Dan said, it's important to space out some of these larger projects. So if we can get this done, that'll free up and we'll be able to build the cash back up at the point where we need to go out to bond for a potential substation or major improvements on the north side.
Was there some discussion about a project that would take these poles out and we would move the line somewhere else, or am I mixing that up with?
Well, there's been some discussion if we would further advance being a transmission owner.
Right.
We could have eliminated the river crossing, but then we'd have to build the line basically going down to, I think it's 34, going out the south side of town there, and go across and develop all that line coming back around and doing a big loop, which we've done none of the permitting. It's a huge project and it's a little bit of a stretch right now.
You don't foresee that we're going to want to do that, in other words.
If we would be recognized as a transmission owner, where we could have others receive a benefit from doing that project, at that time I could see that project going. Because there's some other benefits, depending on what substation we would tie onto with that project, to other entities, such as Great River and Excel.
We'd have to have a financial incentive to do that in some way, which would mean either by being recognized as a transmission owner where we would get a return on investment. This is the most economical way to fix a problem that, you know, we don't want to scare anyone and say they're going to fall down, but they are at the end of their life. It's the main feed that's coming into New Ulm that's feeding our customers. And so I don't think that we want to wait long enough to get the line around the city built.
That alternative isn't really a possibility.
Yes,
right?
and, you know, and if
For
we
now.
do at some point do that, then what we'll have is we'll have a dual feed into town, and so
Well, so these still would be beneficial.
these would
that-
still be beneficial, yes.
Got it.
Yeah, this would always have a benefit to the utility.
Right. Okay.
I just have a question on the steel. Is that just the swap out of the steel for the wood, or is there also additional cost for footings and things for the steel poles as well?
Going to be directly a swap out.
Okay.
It's an all-in bid package, so $60,000 is what we're paying upgrade to get it to go from wood to steel.
I can't get my attachments up right now. But if I remember right, the poles over, or less than, I think it was 10 feet, are not steel?
Any poles underneath 40 foot in height
Or 40 foot?
would be wood poles, but those are only distribution poles. And as a matter of fact, today we were doing some stuff, we've eliminated 2 of them, so that leaves there'll be 1 wood pole and 2 wood guying structures in the project now. Otherwise, the rest of it's going to be steel.
Okay, and why wouldn't you want that one steel?
It's very cost prohibitive. When you get a small pole like that, the wood poles
Okay.
are just very, very cheap,
Okay,
you know,
Okay.
and they're, I don't want to shoot a price off because I haven't looked at the prices on them. I wasn't
Yeah.
ready for that exact question, but a 60-foot plus cedar pole is extremely expensive when compared to a 40-foot.
I didn't realize there was only one. I thought-
Yeah, it's very few. It's,
Okay,
I think
Yeah,
there's
and
3,
I
and I think
think-
we've eliminated 2 today, so.
And it actually has a different use.
Right, it's
Um,
not a transmission pole. That would
Right,
be-
it's a distribution pole, so it has a different purpose, so it's not necessarily really to spend the additional cost on that, for that pole. Yep. And, you know, just to talk a little bit about budgeting, I think it's our intent, we have $700,000 in the budget for this year, which we would carry over for next year. We're anticipating the project probably will start construction after the first of the year to be completed before May 1st. And so we'll have 700,000 of which we've spent some for engineering, and then we'll budget the remaining amount in the 2021 budget. And as Dan said, we're going to forego the cost of one of the trucks for the current year just to keep cash where we need it to be, so.
Sounds good. I'll make a motion to authorize the city manager to accept the bid from Hooper Corporation for labor and materials for the transmission pole replacement project in the amount of $1,250,476.78.
second.
Any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, we can call the roll.
Commissioner Hillersheim,
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis,
Yes.
Commissioner Visser,
Yes.
and Commissioner Heine.
Yes. Motion carries. Next is for a proposal to develop plans for replacement of the transformer and bus differential. Go ahead, Dan, again.
Yep, it's Dan again. We had planned on doing this project to the north side substation, but working with Excel right now for the transmission project, they haven't clearly decided what we need to do for our relays and stuff and that. And now we'll be pushing them along now that you've approved that project. So we have moved this one to this year, and the one for the north side will be done next year with the construction of the project. What we're doing is we're slowly eliminating the electromechanical relays. What that is an outdated technology where now we are currently starting to have problems finding anybody that can even work on them, you know? And we got a budget for doing the whole substation, and that's about $310,000, which is cost prohibitive. We're gonna do this incrementally. They're currently operating fine, but when they stop operating, we have nobody to come in and work on it, and that's becoming a dying art working with these. Upgrading to the Schweitzer relay in the future, we can collect much more data, and when the electromechanicals fail, they give you 1 point of data at 1 point in time. The Schweitzers basically will give you so many cycles before and after the event, so you can do a little bit of investigative research, what actually happened and why everything failed. So this is a major upgrade in our relaying. It's something we're doing on a budgeted and timely manner, but we want to keep moving forward on this because every day these things are getting older and it's less and less people are able to work on this.
Are you able to tell which ones need replacing first, or are they all kind of?
We actually had all our relays tested last year,
Okay.
and that is how we selected the ones on the north side. We had a couple that were not bad, but they had notes on of issues and things that were kind of like warnings, you know? So those were the first ones we put on the hit list, and then these are just being slowly taken off before we get to that point. You know, we're trying to avoid a major expenditure or a major failure.
The intent is to do those next year.
The north ones,
The
yeah.
north, the
We
north
just
ones.
need-
It's just that we haven't gotten from Excel because of the transmission issue out there. We haven't gotten a good idea of what exactly we need out there. So rather than wait and prolong it, we're just going to swap them out and do one that, the south side this year and the north
We-
side next year.
We could go with what our original recommendation was with the north side, but then Excel might turn around and say, well, you need to upgrade that relay. Well, then we're spending the money twice, and that's just foolish, forgive me. Any other questions?
I will make the motion to authorize the city manager to accept the proposal from Power System Engineering Incorporated to develop plans and specifications and to acquire and oversee the replacement of the transformer and bus differential electromechanical relays in the south side substation in the amount of $78,700.
I'll second.
Any discussion of the motion? If not, we can call the roll.
Commissioner Hillesheim?
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis?
Yes.
Commissioner Visser?
Yes.
Commissioner Heine?
Yes. Next is to consider a boiler operator trainee program for the power plant.
Commissioners, we've been, struggling with this for quite a while. The longevity of the current employees we have and the retirements that are coming up, we are 3 positions short right now. And finding qualified personnel has been really tough. There's not a lot of first-class engineers out to fill. There's jobs all over the place for them. So due to the existing situation, we plan on starting a boiler operator trainee program. The applicant would need to obtain a special engineer's license to get in for the position. And once hired, we would go through the boiler operations and operating procedures and practices, everything else for them, get them ready. After 1 year's worth of time, or if they come in 2,000 hours of service, they can test for a 2 license. At that time with the state, they recognize that we can get a provisional 1 license and we can start working them into the system. So that's what, we have 1 provisional license in the plant right now. He is going to be testing for his test in August here in about 2 weeks, I think he said it's going to be. And then through this program, we hope to find more replacements in the future and train them as we get them going, because we've been going to the schools and everything else, we just haven't been getting any applicants. So I guess in the meantime then, we discussed it with Big Ideas in Nome. We contacted them to discuss it. They came down, made a little video on it. Well, a couple of them, I guess, you might as well say. It's going out on Facebook. They're going to get it out in the schools. It's on their website to let people know what's out there for job opportunities. And hopefully some people get informed. And as far as the budget, I budgeted last year for the position. So for next year, I'll probably have to budget a little bit more, so we're gonna try and get 2 applicants to keep it going, because as of right now, I got 2 people that are talking about retiring next year again. So it's been interesting. So I guess you get to have the fun part of watching the short video.
Yeah, we brought that along just so that you can see what Big Ideas did for us, so.
I already watched it once,
too.
so, but it always gets better to watch it.
Today, we're spotlighting some tradesmen in some common and not so common careers. So tell me a little bit what the PUC does, what your main mission is, and what kind of trades are you looking for?
Well, right now, I guess we're in a little bit of a problem. We're short-staffed. We need a minimum of a second-class boiler operator to start here.
You can literally come out of high school and take a specialty. There's some books you can study. It's not a hard exam.
Is there a trade school for that if you wanted to get a 2-year degree? We're coming in at $65,000 a year, not bad.
yeah.
Part of our mission here today was to expose people to careers that maybe they don't know exist but rely on every day.
So there's both a 1-minute and then a 10-minute video that's going to go out. So the hope is, we'll capture some young kids that maybe are they don't want to go to college, but they might be interested in this type of a program and work their way through. So.
Okay.
Thanks, Dave. So we need a motion to receive that.
Yeah, I can make a motion. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Shannon.
I'll offer the motion to receive and order filed information regarding the boiler operator training program for the power plant.
I'll second.
Any discussion of the motion? Go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Hillesheim,
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis,
Yes.
Commissioner Visser,
Yes.
Commissioner Heine.
Yes. Motion carries. Next is to receive a quote for a wastewater control updates, boiler replacement.
Commissioners, pretty cut and dried. We're just replacing a boiler that was put in the wastewater plant when it was constructed back in 1975. Hardy Mechanical comes in and we have them under contract just to go through all our handling units and our boilers twice a year and recommended upgrading to a little high efficiency boiler. Right now we have a 2 million BTU boiler, replacing it with 2 399,000 BTU high efficiency boilers. Maybe just to point out with Schwickert's, the base bid for the boiler unit itself is $57,000, but we're going to remove and replace a couple of new pumps and pump drops just to make it even more efficient. We did budget $70,000 this year to replace that. I was a little low on the replacement pump cost, so we're a little above budget.
Will there be any issue between the 2 million BTUs and the 800,000 BTUs between the two?
No, really, the only thing is we're talking about special engineering licenses and things like that. The smaller the BTU, you don't require employees to carry that special D engineer's license.
Okay.
Because of the size of it.
I'll make a motion to accept the quote from Schwickert's Tecta America LLC for the wastewater control building boiler replacement in the amount of $73,910.
Second.
Any discussion of that motion? If not, you can call the roll.
Commissioner Hillesheim,
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis,
Yes.
Commissioner Visser,
Yes.
and Commissioner Heine.
Yes. Motion carries. Next is a potential roof replacement for the water treatment plant.
Yeah, this is again, like you said, a plant roof replacement. It was budgeted last year at $39,950. We've received 2 quotes for it from both Laraway and GOG. George and I made a few calls, made sure they were both competitive and quality products and all that, and we found that the lower price one met all the specs, so the GOG sheet metal for $33,300, saving us about $6,600 was the best value. And again, the roof on the plant is approximately 27 years old, and that's a flat roof, so once they start leaking, they never stop.
Sure.
Any more questions I can?
None here. I'll offer a motion to authorize the city manager to sign the GOG sheet metal acceptance page for the replacement of the flat roof on the east end of the water treatment plant.
I'll second.
Any discussion of the motion? Hearing none, Nicole can call the roll.
Commissioner Hillesheim?
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis?
Yes.
Commissioner Visser?
Yes.
Commissioner Heine?
Yes. Motion carries. Next is to declare Water District Energy Department property as surplus property.
Yeah, we just have the 2007 Dodge Dakota pickup, Unit 93, and then also a 14-foot Lund boat. I'm looking at disposing of them through Gov Deals. The Dodge Dakota is valued at $3,500, and the Lund boat is valued at $500.
We no longer need a boat, or is it?
This is actually, I'm sorry, this actually has been replaced this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is an older boat, probably not as useful on the river as the one that we got.
Okay.
What we purchased was more safe. So, and the Dodge Dakota was replaced as well this year.
Sure.
I'll make the motion to declare the Water District Energy Department 2007 Dodge Dakota pickup Unit 93, 14-foot Lund boat with 25 horsepower Johnson motor and a trailer as surplus property, and authorize disposition pursuant to the requirements of the city code and charter.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we can call the roll.
Commissioner Hillesheim?
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis?
Yes.
Commissioner Visser?
Yes.
And Commissioner Heine?
Yes, motion carries. The final item on the agenda is to approve claims and estimates for the month.
I'll offer a motion to consider acceptance of the list of claims paid in the amount of $2,283,962.89 and approve the list of claims to be paid in the amount of $1,105,426.84.
Second.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Can call the roll.
Commissioner Hillesheim?
Yes.
Commissioner Shaunis?
Yes.
Commissioner Visser?
Yes.
Commissioner Heine?
Yes, motion carries. Does anybody have anything else? If not, we are adjourned.